There was an eagle that could not fly as high as another eagle and was so jealous that it flew to the ground, walked over to a hunter with a bow and arrow and said, "I want you to shoot down the eagle that flies higher than me." Now the hunter agreed, but told the eagle that he would only do it if the eagle would give him some feathers for his arrow. The jealous eagle pulled a feather from his wing and gave it to the hunter, who shot the arrow toward the high-flying eagle, but didn't quite reach him. The jealous eagle kept pulling out more and more feathers until he had lost so many feathers that he could no longer fly. If you get jealous, the only person you hurt is yourself. It starts when we're young and can last until we die if we don't deal with it. It can destroy relationships, bring nations to war, destroy people because of feelings of resentment, bitterness, envy, covetousness. Jealousy comes when someone who is in a relationship feels they're not getting the attention that they deserve, or a rival gets a job or a position or custody rights. A friend maybe lives in a better house or drives a better car, has more disposable income, or someone gets preferential treatment. When anyone is obsessed with jealousy, they usually misrepresent the truth. We have to be careful to avoid jealousy that could cause us to lose our perspective on the truth and lead us down a path of personal destruction. It's okay to disagree with someone, but not be disagreeable, mean, rude, or disrespectful. Pride and jealousy have to be confessed and forgiven, and then we must allow the Holy Spirit to destroy them in our hearts. In our passage this morning in our devotional, Willowbrook, David is having to deal again with King Saul's jealousy in a way that you and I should have no problem copying. If we follow David's example, we can experience the joy of overcoming jealousy with respect and not revenge. In 1 Samuel 24, we see that once again, King Saul is wanting to kill David. If anyone had a reason to dislike someone and maybe even want to hurt someone, that person would be David. But David, when he gets his opportunity to get even or to kill King Saul, he doesn't do it. You see, we find King Saul, he's gone up into a cave in Engedi. I love Engedi, my favorite place in all of Israel. And he goes up into the cave to take care of his business. And David's respect for God's anointed would not allow him to go any further than just cutting off the hem of Saul's garment. You know, cutting a hem might seem innocent to us, but not when that person is the king. You know, David was so sorry for what he did and for listening to those who encouraged him by saying that this cave meeting is anointed by God. But he called his friends and said, "I can't do this." You know, so-called friends sometimes encourage us to do things and say things that, we should never do or say. And the Lord gets blamed for a lot that he had nothing to do with, but so do innocent people. Our human nature seeks to lash out at those who want to harm us. Revenge can even be seen as a form of justice on our part, and yet God says, "Vengeance is mine." I think we don't need to put into God's mouth what he did not say, and we cannot claim God did what he did not do. Look how David spoke with love and grace when he confronted King Saul. David spoke with respect. He bowed in a gesture of respect and humbleness. He made a simple request that the king not listen to those who wrongly accused him. He spoke to Paul affectionately. He called him his father. That's a term of endearment. And he left no doubt that his personal relationship with God gave him the strength to speak to someone who wished to hurt him and harm him, and he spoke to him with respect. I think we need to spend time in prayer asking God to help us deal with people who hurt us, and ask God to fill us with his love and his respect for all our fellow man. When we have an issue with someone and we've done our best to address the issue with them and not with others but with them, then it's time to leave it in God's hands. That's not easy to do, but David shows us that it can be done. You know, there's a time when the only option we have is the best option, and that's to let God deal with what is happening to us. We need to ask the Holy Spirit to give us strength and allow us to be wise, be respectful, be loving toward those who hurt us. We must also only speak truth and never seek to harm somebody else for any reason whatsoever. You know, David got a chance during a king's potty break to protect the lives of his men and himself. He was going to be the next king of Israel. But you know what? Even though he was going to be the next king, he was not going to stoop to a lower level and take matters into his own hands. You know, someone once said, we must always take the high road, even when the low road might be more enjoyable. If you've got some struggles with some enemies, if you have people seeking to harm you, if you feel like you are always having somebody against you, turn it over to God. And take David's example. Always treat him with love and respect. God bless Willowbrook. We'll see you tomorrow.